it's gon' switch. I know this is God's plan, I won't quit. This is his plan, I won't quit. I was created for this. Yeah, I've been waiting on this. Second guessing is over. I'm getting closer. Every door that was shut, heaven is open. Closed captions on every word spoken. Watching my words cause I'm chosen. And I cannot fail to commit. This is my time and I know it. I gotta show shine brightest in the moonlight. Shine brightest in the nighttime. Been waiting on my time. I was created.
Peace, family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Ascendant Astrology, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be discussing the weekly astrology for July 15th to the 21st, starting with Monday. Um, It marks the Mars-Uranus conjunction in Taurus, which I've been talking about really since April. Uh, and I've done the video for it back in 2022. I'm not doing another Mars and Uranus conjunction video. So what I decided to do in this video is break it down, and I'll put, if I remember, I'll put a timestamp for the people who don't really care about this. Um, so you could just listen to the weekly because it's going to make this video obviously a tad bit longer than normal. And I know I did a longer video yesterday, so I'm trying to limit listening time for those who don't want to be online all day. I'll try to do my best, but this transit is very important. It's activating your Taurus area of life. Um, so, you know, we've already seen the president and the fake assassination. Um, you know, so on a personal level, this can definitely be affecting us on a deeper level when it comes to violence or some kind of biological turmoil or other kinds of ways that I'll be discussing here. I'm not going to go in depth. I am giving a very brief overview, but yeah. So this is happening at 26 degrees, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you live in a different time zone, it's probably happening a lot earlier or the day before, depending on where you're at, or the night before, rather. And so just be mindful. This can be like domestic violence, fires, electrical fires, gun related stuff, fights, arguments, that are kind of sparked seemingly out of nowhere. But again, if you go back and think from whatever was going on back in April, even back in 2022, August to be specific of 2022, this is the continuation of this. So whatever was going on for you is what is the culmination of this just before Mars moves out of Taurus and moves into Gemini. So this is a finalizing or wrapping up of this conjunction. Okay. Again, 26 degrees is a Taurus degree. And so it's double Taurus energy or triple, right? Because Mars, Uranus, both in Taurus, and then a Taurus degree, that's three, that's triple the energy. Taurus, 26 degrees is money, wallets, things because of money, banks, bank employees, bankers, the economy, economists, estates, farmers, things we like to eat, kitchens, dining rooms, fat or greasy foods, nature, forests, meadows, parks, biology, ecology, gardens, things connected to your throat. As you can hear, I am under the weather. My Taurus is in my eighth house. And so how this is playing out for me is very biological so far, anyways. That's just the beginning, right? Because it could, I mean, we have this energy is gonna play out for the next, really to the end of the month, the end of the year. And so yeah, just be ready for it. Um Ecology, yeah, so things that are connected to the throat, vocal cords, to swallow, to choke, to grow, to raise, um, um, like raising chickens. So anything to kind of do with farms, all the things that kind of come with farming. Um, um, or to have what is mine, right? I did, and I have been talking about this idea of people becoming possessive. And so getting really clear on that, there's always two sides to a story. You know, people can become very possessive, and that being the negative side of it. But with the Pluto aspects, possession can also be about, but we are a couple, right? You do belong to me and I belong to you. We have a commitment to one another. And what that means for two people, whether that's a contract, uh, bet- stating what the agreement is between two people, whether it's a written, verbal, or legalized contract, however people are going to play this, I highly advise people getting married or starting relationships underneath this energy to get legalized written contracts on what is yours and what is mine. Um, this is really not energy to be squeamish about these things or naive or ignorant to the fact that things change in relationships. Uh, the same way planets and a sign change, it is going to change the dynamics of your relationships. And you need to be very clear on what you want. Mars was the self. This is about me. Am I going to be able to live after this relationship, or if this relationship dies, am I going to be able to survive? Am I going to be able to do what I still need to do in this world without there being, you know, uh, minimize the possibility of violence and uh, kind of dishonorable behavior that happens when people break up, or the frustration that comes with breakups, especially in marriages. If you're just dating, whew, I don't think you're going to find any reprieve. I warned you guys in the Cancer new moon video to have these conversations at that time. It was more likely to be a lot more peaceful and understanding, sweet, even, and romantic, more loving, caring, nurturing. If you waited, or maybe it just happened during this time. Um, I'd either do one or two things: wait till Mars moves into Gemini, or just accept the fact that, really, no matter how you chop and screw it up. I was explaining, I don't remember what video I was talking about the fact that, people make conflict for them. They make things harder for themselves by being disagreeable. And people think that that shit is fucking normal. I remember now, it was the Black Moon Lilith and Libra video. Um, let's be very clear. The fact that you are a man and the other person you're dating is a woman is enough challenge. You are already going to have some kind of something that you need to talk through to get on the same page and meet in the middle, right? The fact that you are one sign and that person is another sign is all the challenge you need, right? You're going to see something one way. You can be on the same page too, but the way in which y'all both see about getting there is not going to be the same. That is enough challenge you need in a relationship. When you start being disagreeable, this is now we're talking about Mars, lower vibration, ego, and why problems start. And so you have to get some real basic knowledge and common courtesy about what your values are towards what your beliefs are, what you believe in to be, what's your bottom line, right? The things that you are not accepting, no way, no how. And you have to have a path, uh, perhaps one that's printed out for people to see your vision and where you want to go and exactly how you plan on getting there. When you do not know these things, I'm telling you, that is all the challenge you need in a relationship. And when you realize that you don't have these things and somebody else does, this is where Libra and the idea of compromise and knowing your place, your role become very fucking important. Because if you're not doing that or you're not listening, it's because you're embarrassed and ashamed of that. And there's no need to be. Stop worrying about what other people think about you. Step back, look at the bigger picture, listen to what people have to say, ask for some time to think it through and see where it fits in with you. Then come back and have another conversation. This is communication, delineation, making important decisions, having meetings. These are what all these things are for. And I know I keep saying that, like, there is a process and a way that people are meant to work with each other. We have no fucking clue what that is. And this is why we have so much trouble when it comes to connecting with others. And I think on a personal level, there is no doubt in my mind that this Mars and Uranus conjunction in Taurus on a personal level is undoubtedly going to be about that. This is when people are stubborn. The lower vibration of Taurus is a fixed energy. This is being stuck in your ways. Maybe you've been single for a long time and you're just very comfortable. You haven't really thought about what it would be like if you had somebody else coming into your space. Start now. Think about it now. Consider it now. Before you get involved with somebody. It's those little things with Taurus that make such huge problems. And with Mars and Uranus, it's going to set people off in a way that could have went way better had somebody took the high ground. Libra energy, which is being able to compromise, right? And admitting that you don't know something. If you don't know, listen to what somebody is offering you. Open up to the idea that there's, this process needs to be discussed, because when you don't, it's just going to lead to chaos and destruction. It's Mars and Uranus is the Tower card in astrology. This means that something wasn't built on fertile ground. Taurus wants stability and security, period, by any means necessary. Mars and Uranus is coming in to overlook, to see What's not being built on fertile ground? Whatever's not being built on fertile ground is going to fall apart. That's karma, right? It's common sense, right? So being honest, and this doesn't have to be romantic relationships. This can even be with your children and the conversations and things that you have on how you raise your kids and how you teach them, how you address them, and what you keep hidden from them and not knowingly. I don't think these are things, I think this is culturally, right? And so remember what I said in the Capricorn full moon video that I just did yesterday when I was referring to the Taurus new moon is that something was snatched away from you for you to see what you're not seeing, right? Mars and Uranus specifically is like an awakening, an enlightenment moment, an aha moment, a realization of, oh shit. And you're going to think down the line when something else happened and somebody told you, if you don't give your kids chores, I'm just making this up. Okay, this doesn't have to necessarily be about this, but I'm just giving you an example. Okay, this just came to my head. If you don't give your kids chores, why would they grow up to want to be responsible in that way? You have to guide them. That means they have to know how to do these things. And when you think about it, you're going to begin to see why it's important to have kind of a guide, a process, a philosophy, a belief that you follow that gives your children these types of their skills as we're building up to the Capricorn full moon on Sunday from this week. Because then the full moon's going to come in and it's going to even highlight more of, where your kids are lacking, uh, and that they have to master these things now. It could be harder because they're stuck in their ways and comfortable because you never gave them that guideline to begin with, right? And so now you see an adult who grows up and the woman's always complaining he doesn't clean up. We can blame it on the fact that men don't do these types of things or it's not their role, all we want. But if you teach your kid how to do that and the importance of doing that by giving them some kind of guidelines or responsibilities throughout the day, well, this is teaching them Capricornian themes like being responsible, cleaning up after yourself, being mature, being an adult, being a grown up, being, holding yourself accountable, all these types of things. And so, I feel like this is it's a moment of truth. This is the moment of truth, right? And I went on a little bit of a tangent, but I just wanted to give you some quick examples that I hope are helpful as you think about this energy, as I talk through it. Taurus also rules the color green, by the way. Okay. Mars wants to fight, Uranus wants to blow things up. Mars rules our ambition, our motivation, our actions that we take towards things, our initiative, courage, confidence. On the lower expression, these are guns, violence, burns, cuts, bruises, fire, conflict, competition, masculinity, physical strength, survival instincts, hunters, car bombs, pioneers, trailblazers, adventurous explorers. Okay. Uranus is innovative, revolution, rebellion, change, disruption, unpredictability, genius, people who are geniuses, I'll just say that. Non-conformists, enlightening, awakening, liberation, freedom, independence, progress, evolution, science, technology, exploration, astrology, astronomy, space, the sky, the atmosphere, high frequency, bizarre and unusual events. Okay. And because this is happening in Taurus, there can be some kind of breakthrough through chaos or conflict because of we're too stubborn or stuck in our ways or comfortable with the way things have been. Um, Especially when it comes to wealth, how we think about wealth, our perception of wealth, our perception and how we think about security, beauty, nature, pleasure, self-indulgence, determination, strong will, resources is going to be huge. Uh, Again, going back to that idea of, you know, if I cut this thing off, can I still survive? What resources do you have to do that? We can feel liberated for cutting something out of our life. This is definitely about endings and releasing things that habits and patterns that are just not working for us. It can be letting go of grudges, work, a bank, beliefs, relationships, or philosophy, which is like a way of life. Again, how you live, how you structure your daily life, and what is that teaching you? Discipline. You know, when you do something from a young age all the way up to adulthood, this is what it means to be Capricornian when it says mastering some type of skill. And to master some type of skill is discipline. When you don't have those things, you have a lack of discipline, which is another reason why people aren't successful. And Capricorn wants success. It's going to climb the ladder. But if you're not teaching those skills and what it means to do those types of things, it lacks. It's a breakdown. Saturn is not happy about this. And it's already in Pisces where, ooh, it's just messy, y'all. At the very least, I feel like people are really going to begin to start looking in the mirror and be like, damn, I could have done a better job with that. Try to stay away from, well, if my mother taught me this, I wouldn't be in this situation because this, with the Leo season coming right after all this bullshit, man, please. Kids is going to be very rebellious, blaming you for what you didn't teach them, having revenge or regrets about you being their parents and wanting to retaliate or break away from. Um, and if it's not parents or parental things, this is going to be about leadership. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. I'll try not to jump ahead, but essentially, these are going to be the things that are coming up all the way through the summer and to the end of the year. This is what we're dealing with, right? And so your best bet is to get out of your ego, listen to what people are saying, and say, I hear you, and I'm sorry. I need time to think it through, though, so I know how to best respond. Take some time and come back with a very clear, thought out response because people are going to want answers. They're gonna feel like that they were wronged, lied to, deceived, um, and they're gonna want to know why. For closure, right? For the purpose of being able to heal and move forward, right? And so these could be a lot of apology conversations. When it comes to family, it can be stuff around secrets coming out that lead to some kind of apology or need to something awakens with, oh, child, just having a conversation is making me want to take a nap. um but it needs to be, you know, in order for us to grow and evolve, these things have to happen so we can know the truth moving forward so that we're not moving forward in the same way. That's what a tower moment is here to change. Is to break away from the status quo. Uranus is like, no, 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 no. I don't want to do status quo. We need change. Aren't you tired of the same political fucking parties coming up here saying they're gonna do something and never do it? What are you gonna do? So this could lead to people not voting, standing up and saying, I'm not. If these are the only two options that I have, I'm not. This could lead to people saying, I'm not doing that for a check, for your money. Um, uh, this could lead to people saying it's not worth the drama. I've done my best. I can't help you anymore. Um, I feel like I can come up with a few different things, but I think you guys get the point, right? Um, this is definitely going to be about people not knowing how to communicate. When I think of the Taurus Scorpio axis, these are people who don't like asking for help, and they're struggling. These topics can come up. People are tired. The weight is heavy, and people are going to start asking for help, breaking free from that. And in a really cute, beautiful way, this can play out as you see how many people are willing to help you, or how much your kids are willing to help you when you give them chores. They want to learn, they want to do better, they want to help because they see you struggle. So don't hide these things from them and try to be superwoman, even if you're capable of doing it. It's not about you. This is not about you. And if you feel that, you have to know you've been sold into the lie. That is American culture. That is not African culture. African culture is collective. We help each other. American culture is very competitive, and single-mindedness. I can do bad all by myself. Going back to that feminist idea that I talked a lot about in the Black Moon Lilith video. That is not your culture. It's not your culture. It's not. And I think a lot of people are going to begin to really wake up to that. And again, start doing ancestral research on your history. How did your people, your ancestors live? And bring in that stuff back into your daily practices, philosophies, morals, ethics, and beliefs, right? Um, and so this isn't about bashing people, just a realization like, damn, I really was walking around here wide awake, sleep like a motherfucker. And most of us are in all different areas for all different reasons because of the culture of this country. So again, this is not about shaming, but watch and see how this plays out for you and how your family comes, depending on what drama you got with your family. But a supportive environment is better than a single-minded environment. You can't get everything you need to get done by yourself. That's what I need. I think, we're going to see a lot of. And so, most of this is going to be about if you do let go, there can be some fear around that, but this is you're gonna have to take a real big leap of faith here, trust the process, and believe in, what God has for you is for you. And so it's just a transitional period, a pivot, not an ending to what you had, but the way you were doing something, or again, the way you perceived something to be. You'll get a different version of that now. And because Mars is connected to the North Node, right? We have the North Node in Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. This is very destined, fated things happening here because you're clearing away something, making room for something new to come in, right? And so you can be standing for something you value. When it comes to your morals and ethics, it's time to let something go. That is some false illusion. Your intuition is going to be right. You want to trust it. Trust that something's not clear, and because of that, you need to let it go. Only love doesn't provide, uh, love does not provide um, a lack of clarity, illusion. If somebody loves you or something's coming from the right place, it's very clear. You won't have to second guess it. You won't have to overthink it or any of those things. It's going to feel right. And so if you're in situations where somebody or something is making you feel like, I don't really know where this is going, it doesn't feel right, I'm confused, there's a lack of direction, of how we're going to get there or how we're going to complete something, that's not love. And that's another thing I think, going back to people not knowing how to communicate, I feel like that's going to be the biggest personal issue here, because none of us practice these things because it's not taught to us the same way I'm saying we don't teach our children these things. What it means to be successful. And remember, success doesn't have anything to do with money. Okay? This is about whatever it is that you want to accomplish, a task, a day-to-day routine, whatever that is. In order to complete that, or the ability to complete that, is success. And this is all Capricorn wants, right? It says your persona that you're being showed on the world stage and how you show up. And Capricorn's like, show up with integrity. Where's your morals and values? You know, how could you do that to yourself? You know, Capricorn. Capricorn's like, no, because what we're not going to do is half step. We're going to get this shit right today. Okay. Okay. And so, you know, it's time to get in order and alignment with that, whatever that is for you. I'm sorry, that was funny. I'm just thinking about some of the hardcore Capricorn people that I know. Like, I'm not putting that out there looking like that. Look at, there's a mistake there, there's a mistake there. Oh shit. I'm sorry. Completely off topic. Okay, so um just remember, family, by the way, I'm just saying that there's no such thing as perfection, okay? Do the best you can, making sure you feel it in your heart. As long as you feel it in your heart, there's always room for transformation, okay? There's always room for change and leveling up, okay? So I have to say that thing because all the Capricorns will be like, I knew it. And it's because they're probably second guessing themselves about putting something out or doing something because they're worried about how they look. Let go of that. Okay? Because if you're not doing anything and you're not making any progress, you're still in the negative. You're still in the red, and Capricorn is coming for your ass. Okay? Don't say I didn't warn you. You can make up all the excuses you want. Okay, then y'all ain't finna put that on me like, well, Keisha said. No, 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 no. There's work to be done here. Okay. Just go with your heart. Come out of your head and go into your heart. Okay. All right. Yeah. um, oh, it's time to, okay. Yeah. I said all that. And so, this could also be around safety and security, in your home, um, your emotional security. That's going to be another thing that's going to be triggered at this time. Um, and your sanity. Okay. I think people are going to go a little crazy. Okay. And to be quite frank, if you're not a little crazy, you ain't gonna have the gumption to do anything anyways. You have to be a little crazy. to think that you can be successful in America. Let's just be real. Okay. So um, we can feel very restless, impulsive, and impatient. Um, be careful with that. This is not the time to be flipping people off, uh, having road rage, or even addressing road rage. I'm telling you right now, something's going to pop off, right? Don't do it. Don't be on your phone. Don't drink and drive. Don't take any kind of risk at this time. Slow and steady, even though Mars wants to push through, Mars is ready to go. Okay. But it's in Taurus. And Taurus is like, but I am going, bitch, with one foot in front of the other. Take your time. If you try to come out of that energy, it could lead to problems. Big problems for some, small problems for others, where you get a little burn or a cut or a bruise, or you stub your toe, or you bump your head, or something, right? um, um, this is just not the time to be testing people's gangster. I'm just gonna keep it all the way 100 with everybody. If somebody's doing some crazy shit and they're doing it towards you or just in general, be like, yep, you absolutely right, girl. You absolutely right. And keep pushing. This is not the time to address things. Again, wait till Mars moves into Gemini, which I believe is on Friday. Don't quote me on that. We're going to talk about it. I'm getting there. You instead use this energy to be creative, do some self-care, taking a rest, even napping, even um before Mars gets into Gemini, because child, all this Taurus energy that's been built up and bottled up and moving slow, Mars is going to be happy as a pig in shit once it enters Gemini, because now it can go really, really fast. It could be in somewhat of alignment with the energy that that is its natural energy, right? And well, that can be a good or a bad thing too. I think I'm going to do a video on it, but don't forget the lessons of moving slow, and slow and steady wins the race, right? Keep that in the back of your head. You'll have more movements. People will be more communicative and they'll want to express themselves. And that's great. But I get the feeling of being desperate because you've been waiting for this moment for so long. Like, oh, you've always wanted somebody who's open, honest, etc. But here's the thing. It's bottled up, pent up energy that we're coming out of. And so, out of desperation, you might make an impulsive decision to say yes without having thought it through. So, do the work that Taurus is asking you to do. Make the roadmap, have the plan. Where's your blueprint? Right? And follow that step by step. This is not a race. It's not a race. This is not a race. Okay. And we'll talk about that in the Mars and Gemini video at some point. I don't think I'm gonna have it done by this Friday, but I'm working on it. Okay. And so because we're talking about Taurus, we have to look at Venus, and Venus is currently in the South Node and it's opposite Pluto. If you wanted to know why I brought up Pluto, this is why. So Venus has been in opposition to Pluto. So this can be things have been bubbling up and frustration with things that are happening outside of us, like power struggles, tit for tat, pettiness. And Venus is the ruler of the South Node, which is in Libra, if you wanted to know why I brought up Libra. And so there can be drama in relationships. I really think this is going to be more so about women or the feminine energy, mothers, your aunties, your sisters, and the discord within that structure, whatever it is for you. I have this real gut wrenching feeling that women are going to get a wake up call. Again, this is not about trying to make anybody feel bad. Again, you know who you are and what you have to work on. And I think women need to get in alignment. So this is your tower moment, which means all the uh, trauma from the feminist movement is going to come. I mean, talk about hot girl summer. Ah, I mean, freedom and liberation and all that. Ooh, I don't even know where to begin because I don't care. I'm just gonna be honest. That's my gut wrenching response. I don't want to be in that energy. I really don't. I want nothing to do with that shit. But there is something that you need to address that has come from this feminist movement that we've consumed and have taken on as our own that we need to release and let go of. I'm going to leave it there and you can handle the rest. Okay. You know what problems you got for them and you know what problems women have and what they struggle with. Deal with it. Okay. So, Venus is going to be bringing up all this stuff and it's going to come from outside of us. Venus rules women, mothers, aunts, sisters, friends, women friends in relationships. Child, listen, not today. I don't have the time. Y'all know what it is. Pluto is about jealousy, envy, uh, deception, lies, secrets, sleeping with other women's mans, and upholding this idea of, you know, uh, cheating and carrying on. Um, oh, I mean, you see where I'm going with this? Do you? Yeah. It's time to address the elephant in the room. Where is your honor, Capricorn? Full moon is going to be asking you. This is how you show up on the world. This is what people know you as. Is it tarnishing your legacy, the legacy of femininity? That's your choice. You decide. Okay? Okay. Look, I don't want anything to do with it. Okay? Uh, this can be, uh, yeah, I'm leaving that there. Okay? Venus is going to be coming into a sextile with the South Node, which is karma. So we're clearing karma. And then it's going to trine the North Node, which is being comfortable with the choices that you make out loud. Venus is in Leo. And Leo is about being loud and proud, not caring about the repercussions, owning your choices. Whoever cuts me off doesn't like me. I don't care. This could be about hoarding stuff and having too much stuff, too much spending. This is definitely going to be talking about this idea that um uh trying to be buying stuff that they see in Hollywood, this is definitely bringing up that conversation, or even like um, parents, trying to capitalize off their children by putting them in sports or entertainment. That's going to be a huge topic. Um, and the toxicity of that, again, that is not your culture. That's not your culture, right? But there are some people who have consumed that ideology. It's time to let it go, right? um, any kind of fame or popularity test, who got the newest, uh, uh, clothing, whatever, um, these types of things here, right? You can see that theme kind of coming up. Um, you know, this could be the fake hair and the fake weave. I started to go into that in the Capricorn video, or people cutting off their hair. This is something, some cataclysmic change or reality check that people have that's going to make them do some fucking wild ass shit. Um, and so if you're not actually cutting your hair off, you're letting go of the weave, the perms, and you just want to be all natural. When I think of Leo, I think of um, those African tribes where they're all, they're bald. My mom does that. And I think my mom is batshit crazy, but she's a Leo rising. And so when I started learning about astrologists, and my God, this makes so much sense why she does that. And she went through a phase of this too. I think from like college, so like early 20s, late 20s, all the way up until about 30, 35, every once in a while, she'd have this mental breakdown and she'd cut all her fucking hair off down to the bone. She hasn't done it in a while, but her hair is still short. Like her hair doesn't grow well. And this is what made me think about this when I said it in the Capricorn video. Um, letting go of the nails. Um, this could be things happening around public figures and leaders or corporations. And so if they start coming out saying some dumb shit, people will be like, well, I'm not going to bank at your bank no more. Or I'm not going to support your product anymore. I'm not going to shop at your store anymore. Or, things like that. I think as the awakening of this energy where people are going to, kind of go, it's going to make you go crazy. Okay. But it could lead to some freedom or liberation or enlightenment or movements, right? We're talking about Pluto and Aquarius. Some kind of new political party or none at all. I did talk about that in my great conjunction video. Everybody's like, why haven't you addressed the all the stuff going on? And I started doing the rap stuff because I really, really like hip hop. I mean, I really, really, really like hip hop. But even that, it started draining my energy. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to talk about this. Not to mention that I've already talked about it in my great conjunction video that I did at the end of 2020. It's like 3 hours long where I broke down all this stuff that was going to be happening and it was going to get worse because, Lord have mercy, it's a necessary evil. And I just don't want to be in that energy anymore. I'm just trying to honor my energetic auric field. Okay, so whatever, you can go back to that video. I do have the link to my old YouTube page in the description box if you want to go search for it. Okay, so I think this, people are going to make some pretty drastic changes, and I think a lot of them are going to be kids. Aquarius rules teenagers, Leo rules children, Gemini is going to be in Mars. That's more children. They could even be trying to cut out education. They want y'all to be dumb. And anything that they're doing right now, I did do like a little breakdown. I didn't go into deep of the Capricorn energies where we started to see this in 2020. And this idea of Project 2025. Everybody wants to know, what do you think about it? I don't. That's what you're feeling to understand. If I'm not talking about it, it's because I don't care. It drains my energy. But if you want my personal opinion, this is what they always do. So we already think or suspect that 2020 was some kind of way to see if the world ends or if things come to an end, or if we take these things away, how are people going to react? So what they did is they studied the fuck out of 2020, right? They set up this event. They made some decisions that caused us to be now online. We can't go outside, and they studied you. They studied you like little rats in a fucking cage. And they wanted to know how you were going to survive, who didn't survive. They studied you. Okay. That's just what they do. And everything that they studied that was positive and liberating and that was freeing and that was hopeful, they're going to take it all away. That's what Project 2025 is. Okay. Short and sweet. That's what they do. That's what they do. That's what they always do, and nobody fucking cares. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, people are gonna fucking lose it because of some of the stuff that's coming up from this. Being comfortable with your choices is probably going to be the best thing that you ever done. Not caring about what other people have to say. Be careful for the overdoing it part. Okay. This could also be people willing to fight for love or things you love, or argue with others about who you love and why. I don't know why anybody would do that, but maybe it's necessary. Um, and so Monday, so that ends the Uranus caption. Okay, now we're into the weekly astrology. The moon is going to be in Scorpio and it's going to square Mercury. So this is difficult communication, difficult to relate to others, and it's going to try in Saturn. Remember, Saturn in Pisces is lethargic, it's internal, it's behind the scenes. Rest and retreat before you try to have conversations with anybody. Get clear on what it is you really want and how you want to express that. Do not react, because it could cause some real serious, dangerous situations or an ending that you end up regretting. That's really not even fucking worth it. Okay. So Tuesday, the moon will oppose Uranus. Um, so moon in Scorpio is opposite Uranus and Taurus. So again, a difficult time to communicate and relate, especially when it comes around money's values and emotions. This is going back to what I was saying. People are embarrassed about where they are at in life. And I understand that. I really do. But one or two things when it comes to relationships specifically. Why the fuck are you dating or in a relationship or even thinking or considering about being in a relationship if you know you don't have these things together and it makes you feel some type of way? That's the first thing, right? Because all you're doing is causing confusion to somebody else. And this is hurt people hurt people. And it doesn't even have to be that deep. This person's probably going through every fucking body's got money issues. Let's be clear, it's America. Everybody's struggling with money. And so, again, going back to this feminist movement where we're choosing men over what they have instead of what they can provide is a fucking problem. There needs to be addressed. You see? Right? Because it's making another person feel lack thereof or whatever. And no, it's not, I'm not saying women, it's your responsibility to make those, make, you know, you can't fix anybody. The only thing you can do is be honest and upfront. Those things don't matter to me. If that person still has some kind of problem or low self-esteem because of what they don't have, that is now that person's responsibility, right? And so what happens when we ignore these things and we go into a relationship, first of all, it's not a relationship, it's trauma bonding, or what a lot of people like to call situationships. And even furthermore, it's not being built on security. or solid ground. It's going to fall apart, right? It's going to get to a point where it's like, I can't take this anymore. It's going to cause arguments. And if you've already gotten kids in these types of situations, and you see where I'm going with this, all these types of things are going to come to a head at this time. And it's going to cause people to do some real serious, deep reflection about the choices that they've made in their life. And it could be you, the person that triggered that thought, that they're going to come back to and be like, I worked on myself. I finally understand why you were saying you wouldn't date me because of A, B, and C. You see what I'm saying? You might be related in that kind of way, where you're getting some kind of apology or a conversation of closure, even a thank you for opening my eyes, my mind, and my heart to the ignorance that we really are sold into. But this shit runs so deep that a lot of us are so fucking unaware. We really think that what we're doing is the right thing until we're not, right? Until the truth comes out, right? Until our ego has died, right? So this is a death of the ego for sure. And it helps people get realigned with their emotions enough to be honest and have these kinds of conversations before you have children or get into marriages, right? And so these are the types of things that I think we're going to start to see more of. If it's not relational, it's just money. Somebody's bad with money, got bad money habits, and you're struggling. So you could be in debt. Your values are changing in some drastic kind of way. Maybe before you believe that drinking whole milk was good. Now you're realizing whole milk ain't shit and you don't drink it anymore. I don't know. I'm just making it up. Whatever your values and beliefs are could be changing. Cataclysmic changes, right? Your emotions and how you feel about being in a relationship or having kids or wanting a home or all these types of things can be changing drastically. Yeah. And so then the moon will square Mars. And this is again, people want to move real fast, but Taurus is slow. So this could be like money delays, if you're doing some kind of transfer. Car issues with cars or plane accidents could be a big deal. So be careful with that. Car accidents, anything, any kind of mechanical issues or problems. It doesn't have to necessarily just be a car or a plane or a train. It can be money machines like ATMs that delays you from getting some kind of money. Computer issues that delay you from being able to get something. A printer that delays you from getting something, okay? Machinery issues, okay? Contractual issues and travel delays. It doesn't necessarily have to be a plane crash. It could be delays. It could be due to weather, or again, mechanical issues. Okay, I think you get the point. And then the moon will trine Neptune. And so this is where we're like, fuck it, I don't want it. I'm letting it go, right? So whatever's coming up throughout this week is going to be things that you're reassessing and evaluating whether or not you want to keep it or let it go. Okay. Wednesday, the moon moves into Sagittarius, and so we can feel more upbeat, more optimistic. We want to learn, teach, and travel. Or I don't know why I seen this as a proposal. I really do think a lot of people are going to be getting married because they're going to have some kind of realization, like, despite the fact that all marriages fail, or at least that's what's in the media, that is the beginning source of your uh, your wealth, right? As your family and the person that you're with, that you're doing this family thing with. And I do think that a lot of people are going to be able to get some awakening around that idea and getting clear around that idea and how you're going to build that wealth, right? With that person, with that family. And, I do think there could be a lot of proposals or somebody um, um, revealing a new business idea or some kind of promotional thing going on, a new website, some public service announcement, um, or a speech that's very compelling and uh, thought provoking and optimistic, depending on who the fuck it's coming from. Just keep that in the back of your mind. You want to be realistic. Uh, and the moon will sextile Pluto. And so we can feel more empowered to change and transform. We won't be so afraid with the sextiles. Um, and then the moon will trine the North Node. So again, fateful things are happening while learning through your philosophy, your beliefs, morals, and ethics that you live by, feeling more open and optimistic about sharing those things and how you want to grow those things with others and someone and all that. And then the moon will trine Venus. So that is a grand fire trine. Okay. Um, we're going to be overcoming difficulties, letting love take the lead. Love yourself, being expressive and creative and spending time with people who appreciate you or inspire you. That's going to be huge. This is all going to, I really feel like this is about love and relationships and family wholeheartedly. At the very bottom of my heart, people are realizing I can't do this by myself. And these bad habits and toxic ways are not even mine to begin with. This is just what I've learned, what I've been taught through other various cultures and television and music and whatever. And they're going to go back to the person who told them that in the first place. So why this point is important, because on Wednesday, Mercury moves into shadow. I want you guys to remember whatever happens on this fateful day, that even though Mercury doesn't go retrograde until 2 weeks from Wednesday, this is what we're going to be retrograding for the Mercury retrograde. Okay, now I already did Mercury in Leo and I talked about it. You might want to go back to that video to see if you missed anything. I think I'm going to do a Mercury retrograde because I think it's important, not just because Mercury's retrogrades are important, but look at what point this is happening at. With a Uranus conjunction, a Capricorn full moon on Sunday. What else have we had? I feel like there's so much more, but the Pluto in Capricorn Pluto moving back into Capricorn in November, and right around the same time, Mars is going to be in Leo, and it's going to have its 6 month transit, which is rare. Doesn't happen very often, but when it does in a particular sign, whatever is happening at this time, I'm telling you, this is going to be about family. Even going back to the motherland, your ancestral stuff here. So Another interesting point to mention is that Mercury will go retrograde between Virgo and Leo. And so that makes it a little bit different, and it means that we're somewhere down the line when we have another either Mercury retrograde in Virgo or Leo, we're going to be wrapping up something from this time. So remember this time. This is like so important, it's not even funny. I don't even think that explanation gives seriousness to how important this time is, but you'll learn. You'll figure it out at some point. But because Leo is about love and romance and fun and play, and your inner child being childlike, having fun, dating, um, you know, having children, conception, pregnancy. Um, this is family for me. Uh, Bringing back this idea of the wealth of family and loving relationships. Uh, I like the fact that it's going to be in Virgo because I think it's going to challenge us to have healthy relationships. Um, there's always a light and a dark. We'll talk about that more as those things come up, but just put a pin in that and remember everything that I'm telling you when it comes to contracts and agreements and getting your ass in relationships that you're going to regret 5 years down the line because you didn't have your blueprint. Okay? Responsibility here is very, very key. Accountability here is very, very key. And I'm going to leave it at that. Thursday, the moon will trine Mercury. And so this can be about like, how can we work more on ourselves? How can we learn from others? How can we learn to communicate and connect? How can we be more positive about coming up with solutions instead of focusing on the negative? This is leadership in a nutshell. I'm going to just keep it all the way 100 with you. People in leadership, the ideals and beliefs around leadership are going to be tested, right? And questions. Again, like I was mentioning in the beginning of the video, this is going to be parents not raising their kids properly or for all the wrong reasons. Divorces that lead to all kinds of things falling apart due to and blaming it or putting the kids in the middle. Ugh, you get where I'm going with this, you know. You're gonna need some kind of support or just having more conversations with your kids around what's not working in your love life so they can learn. If you're keeping things from them, that means they're learning from television, Hollywood, movies, etc. And that's going to be a wake-up call to a lot of parents. Trying to protect them, but you're not protecting them by keeping them in the dark. Okay? They need to know the truth and they can make up their own mind. It's only your job to guide them. I was having a conversation with somebody and they were having kids and they wanted to know, how could I stop my kids' sexual desires because of what sign the child was going to be? And I said, why the fuck would you want to do that? And there is a this feminist movement has gotten us to the point where we look at all the things that we're supposed to love, like all the taboo topics that we're supposed to love because of how they look in the culture, or that, there's so many negatives connected to them and things of that nature that, we're kind of fucked up when how we think about what it means to come together as a family or having a family or having children. So it's so fucking crazy that we've gotten this far. But I just want to say something about that. Um, Leo is the spark. It's the cue of life force. You know, that moment when the sperm meets the egg. This is your ability to create and be creative. I used to talk about this more when I first started. I haven't really had this conversation in a while because I don't like being repetitive, but you know, in the esoteric realm, it's called the creatrix, right? And so when we're talking about having sex, first of all, you should not be embarrassed about that. There was another video where they were talking about women who sustained from sex. There's this one woman, she's not nice about it at all. I mean, oh, this conversation needs to be had on such a deeper level, and my brain is trying to um, you know, conduce it into something small that makes sense. But the truth is it's really not easy. But withholding sex is why men cheat. And so when you're thinking about this idea of withholding sex or whatever you've been taught about it or whatever disdain you have with the idea of sex, just remember sex isn't just sex. This is your creative energy. If this is the way you feel about sex, depending on what level you're at, obviously, right? I'm obviously not uh saying go out there and be a whore and fuck everything walking. That's not what I'm saying. It depends on what level of your relationship you're in. But if you're using withholding sex as a way to teach a man a lesson for whatever reason, or whatever process you're in, you have to know you're blocking your blessings. You are blocking your blessings when you do that. And um I don't think I'm the right person to have about this conversation. I will try and find that lady's name. And if you can withstand it, if you're somebody who falls under this category, there's so many mistruths and misinformation out there that we're just following and abiding by because we want real love. Just know that the only way to get there is through truth and honesty. You're not going to get anywhere by trying to change somebody's destiny or control their life. Ever. I don't give a fuck if you're the parent or not. The parent does not make you God Almighty. Your child's destiny is your child's destiny, and your only responsibility is to guide them, right? And I think this is going to be something that's going to be really, 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 really hard for a lot of us to deal with. Um, because now it's not just that there's the feminist movement, but it's the feminist movement and how it's demoralized or effeminized men. And so men have to come to the grips of where they're struggling with in relationships because either they love their mothers too much, right? So these are mama's boys, um, or they have so much disrespect for their mother, but they hide it. Um, that they have to address these things in order for us to break free from the cataclysmic events that have taken place through feminism and how much it's fucked us up when it comes to relationships and connecting and coming together with somebody. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. Right? This is huge, right? This is huge. These changes are not gonna these I don't I don't even feel like I'm touching on how deep this shit is. But you finna find out. You are. You are. Um, and so um Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. Hold on, guys. Yeah, okay. So this is the moon trine Chiron is getting another chance to make things right. And the sun sextile Uranus shines a light on emotions around home and family security and this and adapting to the changes, right? Friday, the moon in Capricorn, censorship is going to be huge. Now, obviously, this Friday isn't the full moon, okay? It's before the full moon, but I did a video on the full moon. So if you want more information on what this all is, you could just go watch the video. But again, from a world stage perspective, I think this has everything to do with the young versus the olds and leadership roles. And because this energy is so detrimental at this point, I really think that there are just going to be a bunch of secrets that are going to come out, that are going to be exposed as a way to change the dynamics in leadership. Whether you see that in a positive light or a negative light doesn't really matter. The bigger problem is that we don't have a system in place for people to come up, and it's keeping people at a level of, poverty, poverty mindset, making poor decisions. Poor, remember, the acronym for poor is passing over opportunities repeatedly, failing at life, feeling like you're failing at life because there's no real leadership. And even when you do make it, you still feel like you have to struggle because you have to fight to get in leadership positions. This is all American culture. This is not your culture. I'm going to keep saying that until it hits somebody right on the top of their noggin. You have to teach these things to your children at an early age and encompass those. Who else is going to take over for you when you die? When you're not here? And even when you do, if you haven't told them the ropes or shared with them the blueprint or showed them the way, how are they going to successfully take over that business? These things are not happening. We are not passing our destiny on down to our children. We're not even having the conversations about it. We're dreaming and having dreams and building dreams, and we're not even incorporating the family. Go back to your history. Find out how it was done back then. You got to get to the truth for yourself, family. I cannot keep having these conversations. It literally makes me sick to my stomach that we still have to have these kinds of conversations and that there's still people out there who just don't fucking know. Isn't that a fucking bitch? That is the most damnedest idea to me in the whole entire world. And it makes me angry. So I'm not going to have this conversation without yelling and screaming and just being irate. I can't do it. I just don't have the energy, but I've done it already. If you've been following me for a while, you know damn well how I feel about this shit. So I'm not going to say it again. I digress. It's really sad, though. It is heartbreaking, the damage that has been done. And this tower moment gives us the opportunity to fix it. And I want to make myself clear again, just in case I didn't, as I was explaining the transits. Just think about it. We're in retrograde till November. Things won't start speeding up into the new year, and we're going to be having a Mercury retrograde. This energy ain't over yet. You got work to do before we can start claiming this new life or freedom, so-called freedom that we want when we're under the guise or values of a system that has nothing to do with freedom. You're going to have to change your ways, and you're going to have to accept some of those things, and you're going to have to face your fear about starting over, perhaps, or from the bottom and working your way back up. And know that it is okay. You are going to be okay. All right. Um, Venus trine the North Node, which is again more destined financial opportunities, destined romantic opportunities, being wined and dined, very bold expressions of love, and putting in the work for love, whether that's a romantic relationship, again, your children, or your creative projects. It's going to be different for everybody. Whatever it is for you, do the work. And then Saturday, the moon will sextile Saturn. So again, rest so that you can get some work done. The moon will square Chiron, which can feel like a burden of responsibility and really breaking down and asking for help, not doing things yourself. And then the moon will trine Uranus. So again, adapting to these new changes. Mars in Gemini is less sluggish, and more motivated to get up and learn something, communicate something, connect with others, or to your creativity. And again, I'll be doing a bigger video on that. We can dive a little bit more deeper into that, but I feel like that's going to be an energetic shift people will feel, but you're going to run into stuff if you're not doing the work, right? If you're not being honest. And then Sunday is the Capricorn full moon. And there it is, family. I know this video was long again. I'm really, 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 really sorry, but I really hope that you guys are getting something from this information as usual. I love and appreciate you. Peace.